10 Down WJ presents Shadows at Sunrise. Chapter 1. Breakfast of Deceit. The morning sun spilled warm rays across the west side of town, illuminating the cozy breakfast cafe where Raymond and Tonio had settled into their seats. The air was thick with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and sizzling bacon, but beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary morning, a sinister plot was brewing. Raymond, with his tousled hair and an aura of mischief, had been racing against time to mask his dark practices. For weeks, he had flirted with forbidden magic, bending the rules of nature, and entangling himself in a web of deceit. His eyes flickered nervously, glancing at Tonio through the steam of a hot cup of coffee. Tonio, on the other hand, was a beacon of light amidst Raymond's growing darkness. He had been drawn to this meeting, believing that understanding his friend's struggles could help him steer Raymond back onto a righteous path. Little did he know, Raymond harbored a more sinister agenda. As they perused the menu, Raymond's mind raced with his plan. He had manipulated the waitress, a young woman named Clara, into his scheme. He had slipped her crushed pain pills, instructing her to mix them into Tonio's drink. The goal was simple: hook Tonio into addiction, just as he had done with others, and cripple his destiny in the process. Chapter 2. The Divine Intervention. As Clara approached, a cheerful smile plastered on her face. Raymond's heart raced with anticipation. He watched as she poured orange juice into a glass, the vibrant liquid swirling like the chaos in his heart. Tonio, blissfully unaware, was engaged in light conversation about the latest community events. "Hey, Tonio, you seem awfully chipper today," Raymond said, forcing a smile as Clara set down the drinks. "Just counting my blessings," Tonio replied, flashing a warm grin. "I've been praying for guidance lately, and I feel like God's been showing me the way." Raymond felt a twinge of irritation. How could Tonio be so naive? As they dug into their meals, Raymond watched intently, waiting for the moment when the pain pills would take effect. But as the minutes passed, nothing happened. Tonio remained unaffected, his laughter ringing through the cafe like a joyful melody. It was as if a protective barrier surrounded him, shielding him from Raymond's dark intentions. Chapter 3. Unraveling the Plot. Raymond's frustration grew. "Are you sure you feel all right?" he asked, feigning concern. "You look a little pale." Tonio chuckled, unfazed. "By the grace of God, I'm just fine. How about you?" Raymond's heart sank. He had underestimated the power of faith. With each passing moment, his plans unraveled before him. He felt the weight of his own darkness pressing down, forcing him to confront the reality of his actions. As they continued their meal, Raymond found himself reflecting on his choices. The thrill of manipulating others had once excited him, but now it felt hollow. The look of hope in Tonio's eyes stirred something deep within him, a flicker of the light he had once known. Chapter 4. The Turning Point. With every bite of his breakfast, Tonio engaged Raymond in conversation, sharing stories of his faith and the strength he drew from it. "You know, Raymond, we all have our struggles. But it's in those moments of darkness that we can find the light." Raymond felt a sharp pang of guilt. He had been so consumed by his desire for control that he had lost sight of what truly mattered. The darkness he clung to was suffocating, and Tonio's unwavering faith felt like a breath of fresh air. Suddenly, the cafe door swung open, and a group of people entered, their laughter echoing against the walls. Among them was a familiar face, a former friend of Raymond's who had succumbed to addiction. The sight sent a ripple of fear through him. Chapter 5. Confronting the Past. As Raymond watched his old friend approach the counter, he couldn't shake the feeling of dread. The weight of his actions pressed heavily on his conscience, and he felt exposed. The pain pills had claimed another victim, and now he was trying to drag Tonio into the same abyss. "Raymond," Tonio's voice broke through his thoughts. "Is everything okay?" Raymond forced a smile. Yeah, just a little distracted." But the truth was, he was wrestling with the consequences of his choices. Tonio leaned in closer, concern etched on his face. "You know you can talk to me, right? Whatever you're going through, I'm here for you." In that moment, Raymond felt a crack in the walls he had built around himself. The warmth of friendship radiated from Tonio, and he realized that he didn't have to face his demons alone. Chapter 6. The Revelation. As they finished their meal, Raymond finally found the courage to speak honestly. Tonio, I need to confess something. I've been involved in some dark practices, and I tried to pull you into it. Tonio's eyes widened, but there was no judgment, only compassion. Raymond, I'm glad you told me. That's a heavy burden to carry alone. Raymond's heart raced as he continued. I wanted to hurt you, to control you like I've done with others. But when I saw you today, I realized I don't want to be that person anymore. Tonio reached across the table, placing a reassuring hand on Raymond's. It's never too late to change. God's grace is greater than any darkness we face. I believe you can break free from this. Chapter 7. A New Beginning. With those words, something within Raymond shifted. The chains of his past began to loosen, and for the first time in a long while, he felt hope. As they left the cafe, the sun shone brightly overhead, illuminating their path forward. In the days that followed, Raymond sought help, turning to Tonio and his faith community. They prayed together, lifting each other up in moments of doubt and fear. Raymond discovered the strength that came from vulnerability, and he began to heal. As he walked away from his dark past, Raymond realized the power of friendship and faith. No longer did he need to rely on manipulation or deceit. He could choose a different path, one illuminated by love, hope, and redemption. Chapter 8. Embracing the Light. Months later, Raymond stood in front of a small group at Tonio's church, sharing his story of transformation. He spoke of the darkness he had once embraced and the light that had guided him toward a new beginning. By the grace of God, I found my way back, he said, his voice steady. I learned that true strength lies in embracing our struggles and allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. The congregation listened intently, their faces filled with warmth and understanding. Raymond felt a sense of belonging he had never known before, a community that lifted him up rather than tearing him down. Chapter 9. The Journey Ahead. As the service concluded, Raymond and Tonio stood together, their friendship stronger than ever. They had faced the shadows of the past and emerged into the light, ready to embrace the journey ahead. Thank you for being there for me, Tonio, Raymond said, gratitude flooding his heart. I couldn't have done this without you. Tonio smiled, his eyes sparkling with joy. We're in this together, my friend. Always. With renewed purpose, Raymond stepped into the future, hand in hand with Tonio. The road ahead was uncertain, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay before them. And as the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the west side of town, Raymond knew that he had finally found his way home. Epilogue. The Power of Faith. In the years that followed, Raymond became an advocate for those struggling with addiction, sharing his story and helping others find their way out of the darkness. He and Tonio remained inseparable, their friendship a testament to the transformative power of faith and love. Together, they built a community of support, offering hope to those who had lost their way. And as they gathered to share meals, laughter, and prayers, they knew that they were living proof that even in the darkest of times, light could always break through. 10 Down WJ, where creativity meets impact. 10 Down WJ, ENT